It began like any other missing persons call, urgent, chaotic, and filled with dread. A teenage girl had vanished. Her phone was left behind, her shoes still by the door, and there were no signs she had ever stepped outside. Within minutes, her family searched the neighborhood. Within hours, police were inside the house, moving room to room, opening closets, calling her name into silence. By morning, she was officially missing. But what no one knew then was that she had never left the house. Not during the search. Not when officers cleared every room. Twice. She was there, hidden alive, and somehow completely missed. How do you search everywhere and overlook the one place she never left? The girl was 15, quiet, observant, and deeply routine-driven. She lived with her mother and stepfather in a modest 2-story home. Nothing about her life suggested instability. She went to school, came home at the same time each day, and kept mostly to herself. That predictability made her disappearance impossible to ignore. When her mother returned home that evening, the door was unlocked, the television was on, and her daughter was gone. Her phone sat on the bed, her school bag against the wall, her jacket untouched. It made no sense. Calls went unanswered, messages unread. Within an hour, panic turned into a police report. Officers arrived and began with the house. Every room was checked, closets, bathrooms, under beds. There were no signs of forced entry, no evidence of struggle, and no indication she had been taken. And yet, she wasn't there. The first day was critical. Officers canvassed the area, questioned neighbors, and reviewed nearby cameras. No one had seen her leave. No unfamiliar vehicles were reported. Search teams expanded outward, and dogs were brought in. But the scent trail didn't lead away. It stopped at the front door. That detail was noted but overshadowed by the assumption she had been taken. Inside, the house was searched again more thoroughly. Storage areas were opened, the attic checked, cabinets examined. Still nothing. The house was cleared again. Yet something didn't feel right. Days later, small details resurfaced. One officer recalled hearing a faint tapping sound during the search, subtle, irregular, easy to dismiss. Another detail stood out, a locked storage door beneath the staircase. According to the stepfather, it hadn't been opened in years. At the time, officers had followed protocol and moved on, but now it mattered. A review of the home's blueprint revealed something else, a structural modification made years earlier. A section of space had been sealed off behind a wall. It was small, but it existed, and it had never been examined. 3 days after she vanished, investigators returned. This time, the house was treated as an active scene. Every wall was measured, every space reconsidered. When they opened the storage area beneath the stairs, nothing immediately seemed unusual, just dust, boxes, and old furniture. But one detail stood out. The back wall didn't align with the external dimensions of the house. There was space missing. Hidden. They listened. At first, silence. Then, faintly, something barely audible but real. The wall was removed carefully. Behind it was a narrow cavity, concealed within the structure of the house. No windows, no light, and only one hidden access panel blending into the wall. Inside, they found her, alive, weak, dehydrated, but alive. For 3 days, she had been inside the house while officers searched, while her family called her name, while everyone believed she was gone. The truth pointed inward. Her stepfather had constructed the hidden space years earlier during renovations, designing it to remain unnoticed. On the day she disappeared, he confined her inside and sealed the panel. When the search began, he acted like everyone else, cooperating, calling her name, standing only feet away from where she was hidden. It worked because no one expected the answer to be that close. The case shifted instantly. He was arrested, and the house was re-examined in full. For the girl, recovery became the priority. She had survived, but the impact would last far beyond those 3 days. For the family, the truth was harder to process. The danger had never come from outside, but from within the place they trusted most. Investigators later acknowledged how close they came to missing it entirely. If they hadn't returned, hadn't questioned the layout, hadn't listened carefully, she might never have been found. Because the truth wasn't miles away. It was behind a wall in a house already searched twice. In the end, the case revealed something unsettling. Sometimes the hardest place to search is the one you think you already understand. They searched everywhere for answers, never realizing the truth was behind their own walls.